Rumors about Matthew Stafford joining the New York Giants have started to heat up this offseason, and I would say gasoline has been poured on the fire as rumors are coming out that the Giants and the Rams were in discussion on a Matthew Stafford trade dating back to the 2024 NFL trade deadline. We're going to react to those reports and more on the show. First, make sure you are subscribed to the channel and have your notifications turned on. Everybody, go down right now, click that bell icon, and select all. Then go into your settings app on your phone, click the YouTube app, and allow push notifications because this is the time of year when crazy stuff happens, and I don't want you to miss it. Welcome into New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. Appreciate everybody for stopping by. We have been following this story dating back all the way to October and even back into the summer prior to the season starting. And now when you Google Matt Stafford Giants, there is article after article after article connecting the dots and putting paint to the picture that these rumors are real. I wanted to bring up this tweet from Giants Daily at NYGDaily. They said this afternoon. FYI, the Giants and Rams discussed a Matthew Stafford trade during the trade deadline last year and even got close to a deal before the Rams opted to keep him. And look, I'm not going to say this is 100% true, but I've been following NYGDaily back when I was still in college. He's got 100,000 followers on Twitter. I've heard nothing but good things about him. And look, I don't think that he would jeopardize his credibility and his 100,000 people following to make up a rumor like this. So at the end of the day, it is just a rumor. And I'm going to slightly believe it because I've talked to some people since then. And it sounds like this might actually be true. I'm not going to say 1,000% it happened, but where there is smoke, there is fire. And I reached out to a friend of mine and I asked him, had he heard anything about this? And he said, yeah, this is true. I have heard the same thing. And then I asked him, do you think the Giants would reconnect with the Los Angeles Rams and spark up that trade talk again? And he just said, it's something that they are discussing. So again, a little bit of speculation, a little bit of rumors, a little bit of connecting the dots, but I do believe there is something here. And I want to show this picture from Instagram. Again, this is crazy, and we are in the crazy part of the offseason. But I had someone DM me on Instagram saying, Marsh, my friend is friends with Joe Shane's son, and he said, don't be surprised if the Giants trade for Matt Stafford. I was like, really? He said, yeah. He goes to Don Bosco Prep, and he is the quarterback for the JV team. So there is that. So I wanted to go back and rewind the clock to October 22nd of 2024 when Jack Settleman tweeted this saying, sources, the Vikings and Rams are in serious trade talks for Matthew Stafford. Minnesota made a push to a trade for Stafford this offseason, but are now revisiting with the idea that he could be the piece to help them win a Super Bowl. So you've got reports that the Vikings and Rams were in talks in the season. The Vikings and Rams were in talks prior to the season. And now the Giants and Rams were in talks at the trade deadline. You think everyone's just making this stuff up about Stafford? Jack Settleman, he is the CEO and founder of Snapback Sports. Over 54,000 subscribers on YouTube. He's got over 55 followers on Twitter. Again, not saying he is 100% accurate, but we're following the trail and we're looking for the treasure chest here where the red X is on the map. Remember this tweet from Diana Rossini back on October 22nd, right on the same day that Jack Settleman tweeted that out. The Rams have called multiple teams about trading former Super Bowl MVP Cooper Kupp, sources tell Mike Silver and me. The Rams have indicated a willingness to take on some of the 24 salary and are seeking a second-round pick. So you have talks about Stafford being traded. You have talks about Kupp being traded. And then fast forward from October, they are actually telling Cooper Kupp he is going to be traded and he actually has the power to go seek a trade. Remember back when the Rams were 1-4 this year? Puka Nacua got hurt. What was the talk of the town? The Rams were on the verge of blowing it up if they did not turn it around. They did turn it around. They won 2 games in a row, and they went on to be 1 play away from getting and punching their tickets to the NFC Championship game. And now today, Daniel Jeremiah saying this: I'd be so fascinated to see what trade compensation would look like if the Giants traded for Stafford. If they could hold on to the 3rd pick, they could have some really fun options. I'll tell you this much. If the Giants trade the 3rd overall pick for Matthew Stafford, I am going to crash out. Remember Adam Schefter just a couple of days ago said this. We broke it down. The Giants are hiring former Jags and Bills wide receiver coach Chad Hall as their assistant QB coach. Hiring 2 teams' former wide receiver coach to be an assistant QB coach. Remember, Chad Hall, never been a QB coach. Hall now reunites with his former Bills colleagues, Dable and Shane, in New York. And then I don't know if Schefter meant to add this or why he added this, but I'm sure it's nothing, right? No reason to say that Hall also is the brother-in-law of current Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford. Now, why would he say that? Oh, Brian Windhorst meme. Look, if you want the Giants to trade for Matt Stafford, which I feel like at this point is something that we should all have on our radar, and I want all of us to stop saying trades are impossible. The Dallas Mavericks just traded a 25-year-old Luka Doncic. Tyreek Hill got traded from the Chiefs to the Dolphins. Tom Brady won a Super Bowl for a team that was not the New England Patriots. Davante Adams got traded from the Packers to the Raiders, and the Raiders to the Jets. Anything can happen. And if you want this to happen, hit that thumbs up icon. Malik Neighbors, if he was watching this video, which maybe he is a fan of the show, he'd be hitting that like button because he has tweeted not once, not twice, but 3 times. 9 and a ram emoji. 9 and 10 and a ram emoji. 9 ram emoji. And then 9 again with a ram emoji. Now, why would he do that? And then Jermaine Illuminor, what about this? Where he quote tweeted Sharp Football, where Kelly Stafford said, "We always love a new adventure." And Jermaine Illuminor said, "New York is an adventure, and we'd respect number 9. You know what's even crazier? Jermaine Illuminor's tweet has been deleted. Malik Neighbors' tweet has been deleted. Now, why would the Giants players have to delete their tweets? I wonder if it's because the Giants are in talks with the Los Angeles Rams and they don't want their players stirring it up on Twitter. No way that's true, though, right? No way that's true. Look, guys, I'm not trying to gaslight you. I'm not saying this is going to happen. But I think it would be irresponsible of any of us to say it is impossible, and there is at least not smoke around this fire. Coming up next, I'm going to answer the question, is it possible? What's the price? And why on earth would Matthew Stafford want to come play with the New York Football Giants? That's around the corner. First, though, I got to give a huge shout out to our proud sponsor, ZBiotics. Shout out to ZBiotics. They were once a sponsor of the show, and they are back. And if you go to zbiotics.com/chatsports, you're going to get 15% off your order, or you could start by scanning the QR code that is on screen right now. All the information will be clickable down in the comments and description. Let's face it, I'm 30, and when going out now, I have to make a choice. I can either have a great night or a great next day. That was until I found ZBiotics Pre-Alcohol. Pre-Alcohol is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It's this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for your rough next day. Pre-alcohol produces an enzyme to break this byproduct down. Just remember to drink this probiotic before drinking alcohol, drink responsibly, and get a good night's sleep to feel your best tomorrow. So stay in the loop and go to zbiotics.com/chatsports or scan the QR code on screen right now to get 15% off your first order when you use code chatsports at checkout. I've got 3 bachelor parties coming up and a couple of other trips, and ZBiotics will be my right-hand man to make sure I don't burn out halfway through the trip. Remember, head to zbiotics.com/chatsports and use the code chatsports at checkout for 15% off. Thank you, ZBiotics, for sponsoring this episode and our good times. Alrighty, let's start with this, if it is possible. I do think it is possible. Do I think it's likely? That's a different discussion. I do think the Rams could move on from Stafford, and I think Stafford may want to move on from the Rams. Jeremy Fowler, back prior to the 2024 season started, said this, and I think this applies now more than ever. The Rams have looked at Stafford's future as a year-to-year proposition. His reworked contract last offseason reflects that, pushing his 2024 pay into the $40 million range, but lessening his guarantees in 2025, essentially allowing both sides to decide whether they want to remain married at that point. This is a situation to watch closely because neither player nor team seems to know how or will it end. I'll read that again. I want you to really understand that. This is a situation to watch closely, Jeremy Fowler of ESPN says, because neither player nor team seems to know how or when it will end. Stafford, who was 36 at the time, just turned 37 in February and has dealt with injuries recently. Does he want to play after this season? The reason, I'm not going to say the reason, a reason that Matthew Stafford could force his way out of LA is he has no guaranteed money left on his contract. And a player that is 37 years old wants to have that security. They want to be paid at a guaranteed spot. The only way that there would be more guaranteed money on this deal is if Matt Stafford remains on the Los Angeles Rams 3 days into the new league year. His 2025 roster bonus is $4 million, and it's guaranteed through a 2024 restructure, and it's paid the third day of the league year, which is about March 13th. Look, they're going to have to make a decision, and it's going to have to be here in less than a month. Stafford may want to move on. Now, why is that? I don't know. Maybe his right-hand man, maybe his wide receiver one, maybe his best friend, Cooper Kupp, has been told by the Rams he is not wanted anymore, and he is going to be traded. Oh, wait. That did happen. I can tell you this much. That pissed off Matt Stafford, and Kelly Stafford, she is really voicing that for their family. Kelly Stafford said this following the Cooper Kupp trade news. Yes, I love the city of LA. I love the city of LA. With that being said, I love an adventure. That is what Jermaine Illuminor was saying when he said New York is an adventure, and we would support number 9. Probably nothing to make any of that, right? And then Kelly Stafford went on to Instagram and posted a picture of, it's so blurry, I can't even tell, maybe her husband, Matt Stafford, and said, future might be blurry, but the present is always clear with you. I mean, come on. Are we really just going to ignore all of this stuff? Now, is it possible, and what would the price be? Well, if Matt Stafford is traded, any team that adds him to their roster via a trade would have a $27 million cap hit in the 2025 season. And I have heard so many people saying, Marshall, there is no way we can afford that. There is no way the Giants can afford a $27 million cap hit in the 2025 season. We do realize that $27 million is the 17th highest cap hit in 2025 for a quarterback. Stop telling me the New York Giants cannot afford that. $27 million is a steal for Matthew Stafford. And it's not even top half of the league. There could be a situation, though, where Matthew Stafford wants a new contract. And I would bet if he does get traded, there is some sort of tweaking, there is some sort of maneuvering and restructuring, and maybe just throwing that entire deal away and making a new one. But the Giants have plenty of cap space in the future. And if they want or are concerned about that $27 million and maybe that having to exceed, they can easily create more cap space. You restructure Brian Burns' contract, you save $16 million. You restructure Andrew Thomas' contract, you save $12.5 million. And if you restructure Dexter Lawrence's contract, you save $9.8. And if you cut Graham Gano after June 1st, you save $4.5 million. So yeah, you have plenty of room. But Marshall, he wants a new contract. And he wants an extension. And there is no way, no how we can afford that. You sure about that? You sure about that? Because I just looked it up. The Giants have $182.6 million in cap space in the 2026 season. $182.6 million in cap space. If the Giants want to add Matthew Stafford to this football team, whether it is the right decision, whether it is the wrong decision, the money will not be an issue. The salary cap books are clean going into the future. It's the best thing Joe Schoen has done as this general manager. Stop lying to yourself and challenge yourself to think. $182 million in cap space. Yeah, they could take a pretty big cap hit in 2026 for Matthew Stafford. I want to make this abundantly clear, though. Pick number 3, the 3rd overall selection in the 2025 NFL Draft. If the Rams say that's a part of the deal, okay, hang up. No deal. No shot. It is off the table. Don't even ask about it because it's not going to happen. So what could the trade look like? This would be my strongest offer I could give. 1 pick. Pick number 34. The 2nd pick in the 2nd round. It's a pretty damn good deal for a 37-year-old quarterback. Question is, would the Rams accept? Would the Giants accept? Let's say you're the general manager of the Giants. You're Joe Shane. Would you make this deal? Type A for accept. Type D for decline. I want to hear from you. And I really want you to give me a real reason if you're typing D, because this is an accept. The 34th pick for Matthew Stafford. I understand he's 37. I think he's still got 3 more years left. And for all the people, Marshall, we're not a quarterback away from being a Super Bowl champion. We might be a quarterback away, though, from the season not being over on Halloween, or maybe playing a meaningful game on Thanksgiving. And wild thought, how about you build up the roster while Matt Stafford is here, and then if and when he retires, there's a good roster around him. And then you can make an all-in move for a rookie quarterback. If you can have a good roster when adding a rookie quarterback, that puts a fast-forward button on really the success that rookie can have. Instead of drafting Shador or Cam now, having him develop behind a bad team, and then continue to try to build it up. I don't know. Maybe I'm just looking at this super optimistic. I'm usually a pessimistic guy. Why Stafford and why the Giants? Why would he choose us? You know what? I'm not so sure why he would choose us. Came up with 5 reasons. New York media market. It could put him into a stardom he's never been. You got a young star wide receiver, Malik Neighbors. I think by this time next year, everyone will be looking at Neighbors as a top 5 guy. You got an offensive-minded head coach in Dable, a chance to be the savior of the New York Football Giants. And what if the Rams have to cut Cooper Kupp? And your selling point to Stafford is, we'll bring your best friend to come be your receiver and play with you. Is it going to happen? I'm not so sure. Is it impossible? Not at all. This is more than possible. Make sure you are following me on social media. I will continue to break this down and follow this story as we always do on this channel. So subscribe, turn those notifications on, and let's go Big Blue.